Hey, welcome to a new video. During a surprise inspection, an apparently ordinary family was caught with a large sum of hidden cash in their vehicle. The incident occurred during a routine inspection led by Supervisor Armand Darus, when a white SUV approached the checkpoint. Inside were a man, a woman, and their 3 children, who claimed they were out shopping for school supplies. At first, their story seemed unremarkable, but inspectors noticed subtle scratches on the vehicle, especially around the windshield wipers, a possible sign of modifications. When Armand was called away, Officer Joshua Rodriguez took over the inspection. He found it odd that an almost new vehicle already showed signs of tool use. His attention was drawn to a sealed air vent, and upon closer inspection, he lifted a panel and discovered a hidden compartment stretching the entire length of the vehicle. Inside, they found duct tape, presumably used to secure the contents. And Rodriguez noted that some of the cash was even visible. Around $75,000 was recovered, with a possible total of $400,000, marking a remarkable attempt to conceal a massive sum of money.
Are you new to this channel? Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And before we start, also like the video.
In a bizarre and audacious attempt to enter the United States, a 42-year-old man was discovered in June 2001, completely hidden inside a car seat. The discovery happened at the San Isidro border crossing, one of the busiest in the world, with tens of thousands of vehicles passing through daily. The man was so expertly concealed that only a keen eye could spot the slight distortion in the upholstery. He had been sewn into the passenger seat lining, with only his face subtly visible between the seams. According to border agents, it was one of the most creative smuggling attempts they had seen that year. They emphasized the extreme danger of such methods, due to lack of airflow and risk of overheating. The surreal visual impact of the stunt made it go viral and underscored the extreme measures some people take for a shot at a new life. Craig Hickenbottom, a 35-year-old man from the United Kingdom, orchestrated a clever scheme to smuggle contraband into prisons using drones. Between July 2015 and May 2017, his group carried out at least 49 drone deliveries to prisons across England and Scotland. The drones transported phones, SIM cards, snacks, electronics, and other prohibited items. From his prison cell in HMP Featherstone and later HMP Hewell, Hickenbottom used illegal phones to coordinate the drops. The drones were equipped with fishing lines and hooks to lower the packages, which inmates retrieved using makeshift tools like broomsticks. The entire operation was exposed when security cameras accidentally captured drone flights approaching prison grounds. Investigations revealed that goods worth between $750,000 and $1,250,000 were smuggled in. In December 2017, Hickenbottom was sentenced to an additional 7 years in prison. His accomplice, drone pilot Mervyn Foster, received nearly 7 years as well. Others involved, including Hickenbottom's partner Lisa Hodgetts, were also prosecuted. She was convicted for laundering over $150,000. In July 2019, authorities in Singapore made a record-breaking seizure of illicit wildlife products. They intercepted 8.8 tons of ivory and 11.9 tons of pangolin scales, valued at approximately $48.6 million. The shipment, the largest of its kind in Singapore's history, originated from the Democratic Republic of the Congo and was destined for Vietnam. It was concealed in shipping containers, falsely declared as timber. The ivory, believed to come from around 300 African elephants, was packed into 132 sacks. The pangolin scales, likely from around 2,000 animals, now were stored in 237 bags. Both elephants and pangolins are protected under the CITES Treaty, which safeguards endangered species from overexploitation through trade. Singapore enforces these protections through the Endangered Species Act, imposing penalties of up to 500,000 Singapore dollars and 2 years in prison for illegal trafficking. This bust is part of a broader trend, as Southeast Asia continues to play a major role in the trafficking of protected wildlife. Between 2017 and 2019 alone, over 66 tons of similar shipments from Congo were seized, mostly en route to Vietnam. U.S. border officials uncovered a bold smuggling attempt in which over a ton of contraband was hidden inside fake carrots. The cleverly disguised packages were mixed with real vegetables near the Mexico-U.S. border. Texas authorities reported seizing almost 2,500 pounds, or 1,131 kilograms of cargo, after a screening system flagged a truck for additional inspection at the Ferranosa International Bridge near the Gulf of Mexico. The estimated value of the haul was around $500,000. Among the genuine carrots, agents found nearly 3,000 carefully crafted fakes, a creative example of how far smugglers will go to hide their goods. The seized packages filled 2 pickup trucks. Port Director Ephraim Jr. noted that smugglers constantly devise new methods, requiring border agents to remain alert for unexpected techniques. In earlier incidents, authorities intercepted $2 million worth of goods hidden among carrots and cucumbers, and $479,000 concealed between tomatoes just 2 weeks later. These imaginative methods continue to surprise even seasoned law enforcement officers. In 2017, customs officials in Kuwait made a remarkable discovery. They intercepted a pigeon carrying a tiny backpack filled with 178 pills. The bird was spotted near the customs building in Abdali, close to the Iraqi border. According to a local reporter, the pills were likely ketamine, a substance also used in medical settings. Customs staff had long suspected that carrier pigeons were being used to transport contraband. Similar incidents have been reported globally, but this was the first time they actually caught one in the act. In 2015, prison guards in Costa Rica found a pigeon carrying a small pouch filled with drugs. And in 2011, a pigeon in Colombia failed to fly over a prison wall because the package it carried was too heavy. The use of pigeons for communication dates back to Roman times, thanks to their exceptional homing instincts. Some can fly hundreds of miles/kilometers and still find their way home, making them surprisingly effective for these unconventional smuggling methods. In the world of smuggling, creativity is a key weapon, and some methods are so ingenious they seem almost surreal. At Tiruchirappalli Airport, customs officers discovered a clever attempt to hide gold worth 3.8 million rupees inside ordinary bars of Lux soap. The smugglers had hollowed out the soap, taped jewelry inside, and repackaged the bars to look completely untouched. Thanks to the vigilance of security staff, the hidden stash was uncovered. A reminder that even soap can't escape scrutiny these days. What made the case even more intriguing was its resemblance to a past Lux marketing campaign, where real gold jewelry was hidden inside a limited edition batch of soap bars. Though this incident had nothing to do with advertising, it attracted media attention due to the bizarre coincidence. Cases like this show how smuggling methods are growing ever more inventive, and that even everyday hygiene products can serve as cover for illegal goods. In the dense mangrove forests along Colombia's Pacific coast, smugglers have long been using one of the most creative and concealed transport methods imaginable. Under the thick jungle canopy, they build small submarines and makeshift workshops, shielded from modern detection technology. These so-called Narco subs have been in use since the 1990s, but in 2017, a new era began with the introduction of electric models. These quieter versions were powered by over 100 batteries, allowing them to travel long distances in near silence. That year, the Colombian Navy intercepted its first electric submarine. The vessels are assembled deep in the jungle using lightweight materials like wood, Kevlar, and fiberglass to avoid radar detection. They can carry up to 8 tons of cargo, worth a fortune on the streets. Some are equipped with surprisingly modern features like air conditioning, radar, and snorkels for extended use. Painted blue-gray to blend with the sea, they travel just below or at the surface. Despite ongoing efforts by authorities, it's estimated that around 75% of these missions successfully reach their destination. In 2016 alone, Colombia reportedly produced 910 tons of the product in question, with a third smuggled via these covert subs. In February 2017, border agents near Douglas, Arizona, discovered a bizarre contraption mounted on the US-Mexico border fence, a homemade catapult. Built from welded steel and powered by a strong spring, the device was designed to hurl packages of contraband over the border. It was capable of launching 2 bundles at once, totaling about 46 pounds or 21 kilograms. Agents saw several individuals fleeing on the Mexican side as they approached. Upon inspecting the area, they found the catapult still attached to the fence, along with the bundled packages. The device was dismantled by U.S. Border Patrol and later handed over to Mexican authorities for further investigation. This case is a vivid example of the inventive lengths people will go to in order to bypass barriers. Similar efforts have included the use of drones, air cannons, and even ultralight aircraft. Such discoveries highlight how technology and creativity frequently collide in the world of smuggling. In a strange incident at Liverpool John Lennon Airport, 2 women were involved in an unusual situation involving a deceased relative. 91-year-old Kurt Willie Jarrant was wheeled through the airport in a wheelchair, wearing sunglasses, making it appear as though he was simply asleep. His widow, Gita Jarrant, and her daughter, Anki Anusic, accompanied him as they prepared to board a flight to Berlin. However, airport staff became suspicious and called for medical assistance. When a doctor examined Mr. Durant, it was confirmed that he was deceased. The women claimed he had passed away only shortly before the airport visit, and that they believed he was still asleep when they brought him. They also explained the sunglasses by citing an eye condition. Airport personnel moved him to a secluded area behind a screen, while the situation was investigated. Ultimately, no charges were filed, as the exact time of death could not be determined. Still, it remains unclear why the two women attempted to transport a deceased man on a flight to another country. In some countries, there are many exotic animals in the wild. There are strict controls in place to prevent people from illegally taking animals. In 2010, a Thai woman named Piawan Palasarn behaved strangely according to customs officials. When the woman checked in for her flight from Bangkok to Iran, she was approached by a customs officer. The bag she had with her did not move, but seemed a bit too big, so they had it scanned. Inside the bag, they saw a lot of tiger stuffed animals. Suddenly, they were shocked when they saw a real 2-month-old baby tiger lying among the stuffed animals. The 31-year-old woman was arrested and sentenced to 4 years in prison, and she also received a fine of $1,300. The tiger fortunately survived and was sent to a nature conservation center in Bangkok. If the woman had succeeded in getting through customs, she probably could have sold the exotic tiger for large sums of money. Australia has strict laws against importing illegal substances, and violations can result in severe penalties. In July 2007, the Australian Federal Police collaborated with Irish authorities to investigate a bizarre smuggling method: toys filled with pills. A Mr. Potato Head figure was found to contain 293 grams of tablets, neatly packed in a taped pouch. The parcel had been sent from Ireland and was flagged during a suspicious scan at the Sydney International Mail Centre. Its destination? An address in Western Sydney. Not long after, another package was intercepted. This time, an Action Man toy containing approximately 50 grams of powder. Although no arrests were immediately made, Police Commander David Stewart stated that the shipments provided important leads. Experts noted that smugglers increasingly use innocent-looking objects to avoid detection. The incident highlights just how inventive people can be when trying to skirt the law. In 2011, guards in a Mexican prison saw a woman named Maria del Mar Arjona looking around nervously. She had a large suitcase on wheels with her and tried to drag it outside. But this was stopped because the guards saw an unusual shape in the suitcase and wanted to check it. When they unpacked the suitcase, they found the woman's husband, Juan Ramirez, curled up inside. The man had been sentenced to 20 years in prison in 2007, and Maria apparently could not wait any longer and decided to smuggle him out in this way. Maria was eventually arrested, and Ramirez had to return to prison. This is certainly one of the most ridiculous escape attempts in modern history, if you ask me. Ever wondered how a vehicle ends up in such a remote spot? The U.S. Border Patrol has some ideas. In the Imperial Sand Dunes of southeastern California, agents were tracking a group suspected of hiding something. As they approached, the vehicle was suddenly abandoned, and the occupants fled. Such incidents reveal how people react under pressure, and how vigilant the Border Patrol must remain. This area, also known as the Glamis Dunes, is not only popular with off-road enthusiasts, but also notorious for suspicious activity. Border agents continue to patrol the desert landscape, filled with dunes and hiding spots. The abandoned vehicle became a striking visual example of the lengths people go to in order to avoid detection. In this region, drones, night cameras, and sensors are used to quickly spot suspicious movement. Smugglers always try to outsmart the police and customs. This smuggler probably loved croissants because he came up with the idea to hide his euros in the bread. Normally, taking money to another country is not a problem, but if the amount exceeds $10,000, you have to declare it. But if you have committed a robbery or something similar, you need to find another way to smuggle the money. In 2012, German customs found around $100,000 hidden in croissants. The money was wrapped in foil, and it seems that the money was baked into the croissants. Here are a few other examples of how smugglers come up with ideas to hide money, such as chocolate bunnies and skin cream. In Brownsville, Texas, federal agents discovered a large cache of ammunition hidden inside a pickup truck parked near the Mexican border. The Special Investigations Unit, which specializes in vehicle-related crimes and border smuggling, was inspecting cars linked to suspicious behavior. One older pickup truck stood out due to its welded-shut tailgate and a recently modified truck bed, triggering further inspection. The vehicle was transported to a secure Customs and Border Protection facility for a thorough search. A trained detection dog gave a strong signal, and when agents removed the bed liner, they uncovered thousands of rounds of ammunition of various calibers. The bullets were neatly arranged in multiple layers, spread across the entire length of the hidden compartment. It was described as one of the region's largest seizures of this kind. The discovery underscored the ongoing vigilance of border authorities and their commitment to intercepting unconventional smuggling routes. A 22-year-old man from Norway was caught with 14 snakes and 10 lizards taped to his body. The man was planning to travel from Denmark to Norway, but was stopped after he moved too much, which made him suspicious. He would eventually be caught after a customs officer saw a tarantula walking in one of his suitcases. When they searched the man, they saw that he had python snakes taped to his upper body. There were also snakes curled up in his socks. The small lizards were taped to his legs in plastic containers. The smuggler was arrested and the animals were handed over to animal specialists who will take care of them. The man would eventually have to pay a fine of around $2,000, and for the rest, it is unclear what happened to him and if he is free or not. In January 2017, 25-year-old Venezuelan woman Antonieta tried to smuggle her boyfriend, Ibrahim, out of the Jose Antonio Anzoátegui prison by hiding him inside a bright pink suitcase. She visited the prison with her 6-year-old daughter, likely to create the impression of a family visit. The suitcase, seemingly intended for toys, actually contained her boyfriend, folded inside and surrounded by children's items to disguise the contents. The attempt failed when guards noticed Antonieta struggling to move the heavy luggage. Upon inspection, they found Ibrahim, who was serving nearly 10 years for car theft. He was returned to his cell, while Antonieta was arrested, and their daughter was placed in the care of Child Protective Services. The remarkable escape attempt gained global attention and highlighted the extreme lengths some people go to for love. It also sparked discussions about prison security and the ingenuity behind escape efforts. Stolen gold is one of the things that smugglers try to hide in various ways when taking it across the border. These smugglers from India had the idea to hide the gold in their shirts and t-shirts. In the footage, you can see the customs officials telling them to reveal all the gold. The Indian man and his accomplice were detained at the international airport in Bangladesh. A third man was also arrested who had hidden gold in his shoes. This is not the first time that smugglers have been caught with gold. The gold was weighed and would be worth about $1.3 million. It is unclear how the customs officials found out, but as you can see, smugglers are becoming smarter with smuggling goods in unique ways. In 2017, Mexican authorities made a shocking discovery: over a ton of illegal substances hidden inside the frozen bodies of 20 sharks. The shipment, destined for the United States, was found on a cargo ship docked in the port of Progreso, on the Gulf of Mexico. During a routine inspection, sniffer dogs and X-ray equipment helped uncover the smuggled goods. The press was granted access to film the scene in the busy port near Cancun, and footage quickly spread worldwide. This seizure marked a major win for Mexican officials in their fight against organized smuggling networks. Previous successes included dismantling a large lab in the Sinaloa Mountains and capturing a major suspect in Cancun. Using sharks as hiding places showed just how inventive smugglers can be. In other cases, items were concealed in statues, canned fruit, and even custom-built vessels. What appears harmless at first glance can sometimes conceal an entirely different story. This is, in my opinion, one of the weirdest ways to smuggle goods, namely cigarettes in tree trunks. The cigarettes were produced in Belarus and were on their way to an address in Poland. From there, they had to be sent to Germany and the United Kingdom. Through a random check, the agents discovered the 35,000 packs of cigarettes hidden in the 55 hollowed-out tree trunks they had found. It is an incredible find that was announced by the Ukrainian government. The cigarettes were smuggled by train along with legal goods. The way they hid the cigarettes is very clever. They had hollowed out the trees and placed packages inside. The end was then replaced with wood and sealed. The Russian smugglers were eventually arrested for this, but it is unclear what punishments they received. A young woman was pulled over during a routine traffic stop while traveling with her 3 children. What initially seemed like an innocent situation quickly escalated when Officer Emmanuel Senson and his colleague noticed a sudden change in her calm demeanor after asking a few questions. They brought her in for further inspection, during which K9 Unit Shaba focused on the car's fuel tank. When Senson tapped the tank, the sound was unusually dull and solid. Using a fiber optic camera, they got a clear view inside, spotting illegal substances. The tank had been carefully modified, with loosened bolts and strange marks on its surface. Beneath the tank, officers found a hidden compartment, patched up with repair materials. containing a large quantity of plant-based material neatly packed inside. The clever construction showed how much effort had gone into hiding the contents. According to the officers, such tactics are increasingly common, with vehicles being modified in ways that are nearly impossible to detect with the naked eye. Thanks to a combination of alertness, technology, and a well-trained sniffer dog, the smuggling attempt ultimately failed. Millions of animals are taken out of the rainforest of Brazil each year to be sold in other countries. Only a small portion of these animals are actually caught and released back. This story I'm about to tell you is pretty scary. This man had an idea to smuggle birds inside. Imagine sitting on a plane and suddenly seeing hundreds of spiders running around the plane. A man named Lee Ardern, owner of a pet store in England, was on board an international flight from Rio de Janeiro to Europe when the scanner picked up a few unusual things in his luggage. The police were immediately called and began searching his belongings. They found a number of boxes filled with live spiders. In total, there were about 1,000 tarantulas in the man's suitcases. He was eventually fined $750,000 and had to spend a few years in prison. Some of the most ingenious and surprising smuggling methods involve pineapples and avocados. Criminal networks cleverly used fruit to discreetly transport contraband, a method requiring technical precision and logistical knowledge. A striking example occurred in Portugal and Spain in 2018, where investigators discovered cylindrical packages hidden inside hollowed-out pineapples. Each fruit concealed up to 2 pounds or a kilogram of material, carefully wrapped in yellow wax and plastic to mimic the look and feel of real fruit flesh. The pineapples were then resealed with great care and shipped via regular freight channels. Avocados were also used in clever ways. In some cases, a soft paste was injected into the seed cavity, or liquid was mixed directly with the fruit pulp. The seeds were then recreated using resin or other firm materials. In such cases, specialized scanners or sniffer dogs were essential to detect the deception. These tactics demonstrate just how creative smugglers can be when trying to evade detection. A woman was arrested at Toronto Airport in Canada for suspicious behavior. She was pulled aside and asked to follow the customs officer. A customs officer discovered during a body scan that the woman was trying to smuggle 10,000 diamonds into the plane in her body. The diamonds were valued at about $400,000. It is not known exactly how the woman ingested the diamonds and how they ended up in her body. Her nationality was not disclosed, but it was known that she did not come from Canada. She was eventually charged with smuggling, possession of stolen property, making false statements, and importing rough diamonds without the required certificates. Just for the last charge, she could face up to 10 years in prison. In 2015, U.S. border agents in El Paso, Texas, made an unusual discovery: 165 pounds or 75 kilograms of illegal substances hidden in a vehicle. During a checkpoint stop at the Paso del Norte crossing, K9 Unit CETA alerted agents to the wheels of a Ford Explorer. Scans with advanced equipment revealed anomalies in the tires and fuel tank. In total, agents found 150 packages, expertly concealed and well hidden within the vehicle. 7 years later, in 2022, a similar case occurred at JFK Airport in New York when a wheelchair-bound passenger aroused suspicion. Security noticed that the wheelchair's wheels were not functioning normally. Scans revealed the tires were fully packed, holding about 29 pounds/13 kilograms of illegal substances. The woman, a citizen of the Dominican Republic, was arrested and faced multiple charges. Both incidents underscore how inspection technology and sharp observation are key to catching increasingly sophisticated smuggling techniques. In 2009, a 23-year-old man from Melbourne, Australia, tried to bring some pigeons into his own country from Dubai. Customs officials found that the man was acting suspiciously at the airport, so they decided to investigate him. Initially, they found a money belt with bird eggs and seeds inside, but when they got to his pants, they found 2 pigeons on each side that had been wrapped so that they couldn't escape. Customs officials couldn't believe how the man was planning to smuggle the pigeons in this way. The man was given a 10-year prison sentence and a fine of about $60,000. Do you think this is enough, or does he deserve a longer sentence? Let me know in the comments. Jeffrey Lendrum of Northamptonshire became infamous as the world's most notorious smuggler of rare bird eggs. Over the past 30 years, he has been arrested or prosecuted on 4 continents for illegally collecting eggs from protected birds of prey. In 2018, he was caught at Heathrow Airport with falcon, eagle, and vulture eggs strapped to his body, carefully secured under his clothes. The eggs, worth an estimated $100,000 on the black market, were intended for a small circle of elite collectors. A year earlier, he had pleaded guilty to 4 charges of violating wildlife protection laws, earning him 37 months in prison per count. His smuggling activities date back to 1984 in Zimbabwe, and he's been caught in Canada, Brazil, and other countries for similar offenses. In 2015, he was stopped in São Paulo with 4 falcon eggs and was sentenced in absentia to 4 years in prison the following year. Some eggs were blown out, emptied, to prevent damage during transport. His case brought global attention to the black market for endangered wildlife. On October 9th, an Egyptian embassy in Kuwait discovered a sarcophagus. The wooden sarcophagus was smuggled from Egypt to Kuwait in March 2018. The artwork was hidden in a bank that was supposed to be shipped by the postal company. During the scanning of the shipment, the hidden sarcophagus was discovered. Smuggling of ancient artifacts has been a problem in Egypt for years. In 2017, a statue of King Jedefre was illegally transferred abroad, originating from the area of the Sphinx. Often, these ancient artifacts are not found and are sold on the black market for large amounts of money. In recent years, 500 objects stolen and sold in other countries around the world have been returned to Egypt. In 2016, 6 men were sentenced to prison for running a sophisticated smuggling operation using fake ambulances from the Netherlands. These vehicles were used to transport large quantities of illegal substances into the United Kingdom, with the cargo hidden behind metal panels. The ambulances were accompanied by fake paramedics and patients who played their roles convincingly. According to British authorities, at least 45 runs were made, with a total estimated street value of $1.6 billion. On June 16, 2015, officers followed an ambulance from Harwich to Birmingham, arresting 4 men and a patient who turned out to be perfectly healthy. During the search, they discovered over 593 pounds, or 269 kilograms of contraband, worth more than $38 million. The packages were wrapped in colorful tape and linked to a list of destinations and contacts. The gang operated out of hotels in Colchester and used a warehouse nearby to coordinate their transports. Experts describe this as one of the most audacious and organized attempts to exploit emergency services for international smuggling. Which method do you think was the most clever? Let us know in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos we've made, click one on the screen or take a look at the channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.